The advantages of using technology in learning English language of college students in Mindoro State University. The purpose of this study is to determine the advantages of using technology in learning English language of college students in Mindoro State University. Also, this study sought to answer the following question. First is that what is the advantages of using technology in learning English language of college students? Second is what are the advantages of using technology in learning English language of the college students? Third and the last is how can the use of technology help the students to learn English language? Moreover, I choose this topic because nowadays, the students of Mindoro State University are facing the new challenges, which is the new normal education, wherein they use different platforms of technology to continue or to pursue their education. Because of the new normal education, the students can use different technology platforms, including the Zoom, Google Meet, and Google Classroom to be able them to attend in their online class. This topic is also timely because nowadays, in the days of pandemic, we are using technology to pursue our dreams and our passion. I, the researcher, want to determine the advantages of using technology in learning English language of the students in Mindoro State University. And as a student taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English, this topic is related to my academic discipline because this topic also tackles the learning English language and the use of technology on how to learn English more, and then also the result of this topic can help me to know what are the advantages of using technology on English learning. The possible difficulties that I may encounter in pursuing this topic is that it is difficult for me to conduct or to seek more information because I do not have access or limited access to internet. I have poor internet connection. But to pursue this topic, I am willing to give more enough time and willing to go to our town plaza so that I can access to internet connection and to disseminate the information and the questionnaire and surveys for my respondents. That would be all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to introduce to you to my research title entitled Trilingualism and Academic Performance in Oral Communication of Senior High School IP Learners in Mansalay Catholic High School. And for the elements of research, we have statement of the problem, conceptual paradigm, research design and procedure, and annotated bibliography. For the statement of the problem, I prepared 4 questions that will be given an answer at the end of this research. The aim of this study is to determine how trilingualism takes place in the academic performance in oral communication of senior high school IP learners. And now for the conceptual paradigm. This presents the figure depicting the trilingualism and the academic performance in oral communication of senior high school IP learners of Mansalay Catholic High School. The figure shows the trilingualism and the academic performance in oral communication of senior high school students in Mansalay Catholic High School. The one-tailed arrow represents the relationship between variables. The independent variable is the trilingualism of the senior high school IP learners, while the dependent variables is the academic performance in oral communication of senior high school IP learners. The expected output will be a seminar that focuses on enhancing the academic performance of IP learners in oral communication. And now for the research design and procedure. The study will utilize the use of descriptive correlation, research and design to identify the impacts of trilingualism and academic performance in oral communication of senior high school IP learners in Mansalay Catholic High School. Correlation research design calculates the relationship between two variables without the researcher running either of them. Descriptive correlation studies describe the variables and the relationship that occurs naturally between and among them. It focuses to discover whether there is either a positive correlation where both variables change in the same direction, zero correlation where there is no relationship between the variables, or negative correlation where the variable change in opposite direction. The research is quantitative because it involves the process of objectively collecting and analyzing numerical data to describe, predict, or control variables of interest. Survey will be utilized to collect data and information to relate trilingualism and academic performance in the course of oral communication. And for the annotated bibliography, I found some useful articles that tackles about the negative and positive impacts of trilingualism in academic performance. I also found some articles about how trilingualism works and how trilingualism takes place in academic performance of an IP learner. I chose this topic because I noticed how hard it is for IP learners to cope up in academic performance, especially in using English as a medium. I observed that it is not easy for them to understand every words in English, and that's why most of them has a problem in academic performances. This topic is related to my academic discipline because I came from the southern part of Mindoro, which is the Mansalay, where there are many IPs living around my area. I just realized how hard it is for them to socialize with us non-IPs because they think that they are inferior because of how they talk, how they dress, how they look, and about their classification in this society. Same goes with me when I started studying in our school, which is the Minsu. I felt so inferior because I came from far away, and I think that it is hard for me to socialize with others. I think the only difficulty in pursuing this topic is the gathering of data and information for my questionnaire and survey. Because we all know that many IPs are not good in communication, especially to us non-IPs. And because they are also shy to talk with people like us who are non-IPs, they usually get shy whenever someone is asking a question which talks about themselves, their religion, or about their tribe. I plan on overcoming this by starting to gather information from indigenous people that I know and from my former classmates in high school. And with this plan, I think I can use this as a connection to gather information from other IP students. And that would be all for my research, entitled again The Trilingualism and Academic Performance in Oral Communication of Senior High School IP Learners in Mansalay Catholic High School.
Good day everyone, I am Desiree D. Mapalad and I am here to discuss to you my research title. Since we were only 3 members in our group, we decided to make at least one research title per person. This research was entitled Factors Affecting English Language Speaking Skills Proficiency Among Grade 7 Students of Nabuslot National High School. It is a qualitative research paper, which presented to the Faculty of Teaching Education Department of Mindoro State University, Calapan City Campus. So the topic of this research was Lack of Speaking Skills Proficiency. Its proposed title was Factors Affecting English Language Speaking Skills Among Grade 7 Students of Nabuslot National High School. So this study aims to determine the factors affecting the students' speaking skills in English language. Specifically, It seeks answers to the following question. First, what are the insights of grade 7 students about English language? Second, what are the factors that affect the student's proficiency in speaking English language? Third, how does the factors of students' speaking skills affecting the student's proficiency in speaking English language? Fourth, how can you address the factors that hinder the student's proficiency in speaking? So we can see here the conceptual paradigm. The first box indicates our input, which is the factors affecting the student's speaking skills in English language. And the second box represents the process, which pertaining to the observation, interviews, and data triangulation. And the last box represents our output. Our output is a speaking skills workshop and seminar. This study is a phenomenological qualitative research, which is according to Munhal 2007, phenomenological studies create hope. In addition, this study can be used to liberate us from long-held belief that cut off the voice of the person's lived experiences. So the fundamental goal of this approach is to arrive at the description of the nature of the particular phenomenon. By this, the researchers constructed the universal meaning of an event, situation, or experiences and arrived at a more profound. In order to gather the needed information, the researcher will ask the permission to the principal, teacher, and the respondent. Then afterwards, appointment with chosen respondents. Then after the appointment, the interview and the data analysis. Then lastly, encoding and categorizing and tabulating of the data. So I chose this topic since it will help the students to determine the possible factors of having difficulties in speaking English. And of course, it will allow them to know what are the possible things to do to avoid or prevent this problem. Honestly speaking, I experience having difficulties in speaking English too. And even my vocabularies aren't that good. So I came up to this topic so that me and my fellow students will learn something. So as a future educator and a student of Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English, it will be a gateway for me and for my fellow BS Ed English students to emphasize this topic since it is one of the major problems of most of the students. So I think one of the problems that I might encounter during the process of making research paper is finding the evidences like supporting articles and studies, but I know that patience and perseverance is the key. I need to be more resourceful and persevere in finding articles and studies which related to my topic. So that would be all for today and thank you. God bless.